Now if you fancy bagging yourself one of Samsung's snazzy new smartwatches but your pockets aren't exactly overflowing with cash, well this sleek wee mofo right here is your most affordable option. This is the 40mm version of the standard Galaxy Watch 5, which will empty your savings to the tune of 269 quid, or £319 if you fancy some hot LTE connectivity as well. Now I've been testing it out as my full-time smartwatch for over a fortnight now, so here's my in-depth Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 40mm version review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now this dinky 40mm version is a perfect fit for slender, feminine or childlike wrists such as my own. It's one of the more compact options out there, certainly as far as premium smartwatches go, with a light stainless steel design that you'll barely even feel when it's sat on your wrist. And because it's not a proper chunkster, unlike a lot of other smartwatches that I end up reviewing, I find that I'm not constantly twatting the Galaxy Watch 5 off of door frames and work surfaces and other stuff. But even if you do end up banging it about, no worries, because so far, touch wood, that frame and the sapphire crystal screen have both proved highly resistant to scratches and nicks and the rest. In fact, 2 weeks on, this thing still looks box fresh. Sure, the regular Galaxy Watch 5 isn't as rugged as the Watch 5 Pro, and the bezels don't stick out above the surface of that screen for added protection. But I've got to say, I do prefer this slick, simple design here on the regular watch. Yeah, there's not really much in the way of frills or flair to speak of here, but then I've never really been a fan of bling anyway. It's very simple, aesthetic, and I approve wholeheartedly. You can grab the Galaxy Watch 5 in a choice of 3 colours as well. This is the silver model. You can also pick it up in graphite or pink gold if you fancy something a little bit different, and you can fully customise the band that it comes with too. I've got to say, I do adore this purple silicone effort, but you can snap it off at any point and replace it with another 20mm strap. Just be warned, you do need actual fingernails in order to do this, and I unfortunately bite mine to the krull, so it's a bit more difficult. So all that stress of being a YouTube twat really getting to me. Oh, and the Galaxy Watch 5 is fully water resistant as well, like basically every smartwatch out there right now, so you can rock it in the pool, on the beach, whatever. And it's no real shocker that Samsung's Super AMOLED screen is yet another stunner. Despite the compact design of the Galaxy Watch 5, this panel is sharp and spacious enough so that even tiny text is perfectly legible. Unless you've destroyed your eyesight with far too much dodgy internet-based shenanigans. It's also bright enough to clearly make out even in strong daylight, while the sharp contrast means you won't really be able to tell where the display ends and those bezels begin, not unless you squint really hard. Now this revamped Wear OS UI was launched last year, and Samsung actually helped Google to slap it all together. So certainly from a software perspective, what you've got here on the Galaxy Watch 5 is more or less identical to what you saw on last year's Samsung Galaxy Watch 4. And this includes, yet again, an emphasis on Sammy's own services, including Samsung Pay and good old Bixby, of course, both of which can be accessed using these physical buttons on the side.
I can't do that yet, but I'm working on it.
Pretty standard response from Bixby there. But fair play to Samsung actually, the built-in speaker on the Galaxy Watch 5 is pretty bloody good, especially for such a teeny smartwatch. Once you jack the volume all the way up, it is audible even in quite a noisy environment, and the clarity stays quite strong as well. You've got separate volumes for the likes of Bixby and your alarms and other notification bleeps and all the rest of it. And likewise, the built-in mic on the Galaxy Watch 5 is pretty good at isolating your voice from any other background shenanigans, so Bixby can understand what you're banging on about. Doesn't actually mean that you'll get a worthwhile response from her, but whatever. And likewise, if you're actually taking a phone call on this thing, whoever you're speaking to can generally make out what you're saying, again, even in quite a noisy place. Now you've got a decent selection of pre-installed and generally fully customizable watch faces here on the Galaxy Watch 5, including the obligatory AR emoji bollocks. Although I did find myself growing a wee bit bored of them this past week, especially as most of them are old and the fresh new ones are no great shakes unless you happen to have some sort of dragon fetish. Thankfully, you can get loads more straight off of Google Play, or just create your own using any pics that you happen to have lying around on your phone. Yeah, even those dodgy ones of you and the giant zucchini. You can access your apps tray with a quick swipe up like so from the main screen, and I did find that the Watch 5 had basically all of the apps that I needed. You've got your health shiz built in here, you've got timers, alarms, calendar updates, media controls, etc. And if you find that anything is missing, chances are you can probably just grab it from the Google Play Store. Now the Galaxy Watch 5 will generally access the internet via your smartphone, although you do have Wi-Fi support as well if you want direct access, and you got that option of LTE connectivity if you bung an extra 50 quid Samsung's way. Although you will then need a stump up for an eSIM on the side as well, so we're talking extra big bucks. And if you've got yourself a pair of Samsung's own Galaxy Buds, well, you can either hook them up directly to the smartwatch or via your smartphone, and you've got a dedicated Buds app to check on the battery level. You can play around with the noise controls and also deactivate the touch controls if you don't want to use those. And of course, you've got full media controls as well, which you can access with a quick tap of this little bouncing jittery icon down at the bottom of the Galaxy Watch 5 whenever you're playing music or podcasts or whatever else. It does generally take a couple of seconds for the media controls to load up and be fully functional, and then when you tap the on-screen controls, there's generally, again, a pause of almost a second before anything actually happens, but unless you're horrifically impatient, it's nothing too terrible. And performance on the whole pretty smooth here on the Galaxy Watch 5. You will see the occasional little judder as an app is loading or something, but that's about it. But certainly one of the more compelling reasons for Android smartphone users to get a dedicated Wear OS watch rather than one of the many rivals on offer is the excellent notification support. The instant a notification lands on your smartphone, you'll also get a buzz on your wrist. That is, as long as it's from one of the apps that you've actually approved in the smartwatch settings, you're not bothered by every little notification that ticks through on your phone. And just give it a little tap and you can read an extensive preview of the notification, generally most of an email or a message. And if it's a notification from a Google app such as Gmail, you will be able to reply directly through the smartwatch, otherwise you will have to unfortunately do so on your phone. There's no real difference between this here regular Galaxy Watch 5 and the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro when it comes to health data collection. Samsung's bioactive sensor slapped on the back end of the Galaxy Watch 5 helps it to spaff out real-time info on your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, blood pressure, all the usual jazz. And that bioelectrical impedance analysis sensor is back in action, so you've got full tracking for your body composition if you fancy it. Just stick your fingers on those side buttons and you'll get an estimate of your body fat percentage, your skeletal muscle, all of this stuff right here. Although don't get too hung up on the results because they do tend to fluctuate quite a lot on the Galaxy Watch 5 and on that Pro model as well, depending on the time of the day, your chosen stance while you're taking the reading, all kinds of factors. And no matter what kind of sweat-inducing activities you're into, as long as it's nothing too dodgy, chances are the Galaxy Watch 5 will support it. I mean, this thing will literally measure your star jumping session if you happen to be 5 years old. Depending on the type of exercise, you can set various parameters and then off you go. And when the workout begins, you'll be given all of the information that you require right here, including, for instance, in this boxing session, your current heart rate, how long you've been going for, and a rough estimate of how many calories you've burned. Got fast media control access as well, so you can choose the tunes that get you most pumped up, and then when you've had enough, just swipe this way and you can pause or just finish the whole lot. And then when you sync your Galaxy Watch 5 with your smartphone, in the Samsung Health app, you'll be able to get a full-on breakdown of your exercise, including your heart rate zones, so you can see exactly how effective that particular session was. And the Samsung Galaxy Watch continues to measure your heart rate for a full 2 minutes after your exercise session finishes, so you can see your recovery rate. Overall, pretty comprehensive stuff, especially for something that isn't really a dedicated full-on fitness tracker. And the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 also does a bang-up job of automatically recording any running or walking that you might be getting up to for whatever reason. Absolutely no manual input required. And yeah, the Pro model of the Galaxy Watch 5 does include a couple of additional bonus features when it comes to the health-related shenanigans. So for instance, if you're a cyclist or a hiker, you can load in a preset route. But basically, it's the same set of tools and features here on the regular Galaxy Watch 5 for a lot less cash. You've got the usual sleep tracking shenanigans on the Galaxy Watch 5 as well. No real difference between the Watch 5 and the Watch 5 Pro, and it's pretty thorough as well compared with many other smartwatches. Although like many smartwatches, the Galaxy Watch 5 will think that you're lightly kipping when actually you're just lying prone in bed, reading your emails or staring at the ceiling wondering what the point of existing is. You've also got a snore detection feature, although this has to borrow the microphone on your smartphone to actually function. And frankly, a far better indicator of whether I've been snoring during the night is whether I get an elbow in the throat from my other half. Of greater use is the sleep coaching feature. This can actually monitor your sleep habits over the course of a week or so, and then assign you an animal based on those habits. I am apparently a give zero fucks lion, which is pretty badass. You'll then get various, what Samsung calls missions to complete over the course of the next few weeks. These are essentially little checklists. Mostly stuff you're supposed to avoid, such as boozing and drinking coffee late at night, although frankly most of these I would actually class as personal hobbies. You're also supposed to be more active, good luck with that one, and you also do occasionally get little tips to help you sleep better. Now, while the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro edition sports a mighty 590 mAh capacity battery, well, of course, the regular Galaxy Watch 5 is considerably skinnier, and therefore that battery capacity is basically halved. And this means that yes, you will essentially have to charge it up every single frickin' day, which does get rather tiresome, although I found that I got into a pretty good habit of when I woke up in the morning just slapping it into the dock while I went off my holy S Trinity, a shower and shave. And by the time I'm done with all that shenanigans, usually the Galaxy Watch 5 is around sort of 80 to 90% charged. So, you know, a quick mug of Bovril and you're basically ready for action. And the good news is, if you do leave the Galaxy Watch 5 charging and bugger off to do something else, well, you'll actually get a notification ping through on your smartphone when the watch hits 100% battery capacity. So there's certainly no need whatsoever to constantly keep on checking on it to see if it is fully charged. And that right there is my full, final, frank review of the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 after using it as my full-time smartwatch for over a fortnight now. So I've reviewed both this and the Pro model, and I've got to say, of the two, I would be more tempted by the Pro purely because of the far superior battery life. And even that Pro model isn't ideal. You'll still be charging it every 2 to 3 days rather than every friggin' day, which is some light relief, but then there are options from the likes of TicWatch and Huawei which will go, you know, a week, maybe even 2 weeks in between charges instead. Besides that, the Pro is also tougher than the standard Galaxy Watch 5, but I prefer the design here on the regular model. It's skinnier, it's lighter, and I just think it's more attractive. But of course, if you are into your outdoor shenanigans, then yeah, maybe give that Pro a look just in case. That's enough for me yammering on. Anyway, have you guys been using the Galaxy Watch 5 or the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro? It'd be great to hear your own mini reviews down in the comments below, and any other thoughts you're having in that lovely little head of yours. And please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a really wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.